Wednesday, August 21st, 2024, and right here is the update on Snowmobile. That's probably last week.
Yes. Hope you all are having a good Wednesday so far today. But we're now considering an amendment to the County Snowmobile Ordinance, specifically in Title 6, Chapter 2 of the Shoshone County Code. In that, we've collaborated with the chair of the County Snowmobile Groomer Board to ensure their concerns were addressed in the proposed changes. The most notable update in this ordinance is going to be the removal of the county groomer sticker program. As our office has determined that these fees are now covered by state's groomer-related fees. While revising the ordinance, we also took the opportunity to clarify a few other sections to make sure the public is clearly informed about the rules, especially regarding unauthorized use of off-highway vehicles or OHVs on groomer trails. This amendment aims to update our processes and align with state regulations as well.
Do we have questions from the board? Well, is it going to go through the state? Is there still going to be a groomer fee but charged by the state?
The state has its own program that it can implement regarding groomer stickers. Because of that, we've determined that counties are likely going to be preempted from implementing their own program over the top of it. As such, resulting to essentially remove within our own ordinance those provisions that relate to the groomer sticker so that we don't have a preemption issue with the state regulation moving forward.
Now, do we not oversee the groomer board anymore? Is that going to be the state, or how is that going to work?
The groomer board, it's my understanding, still exists.
Yes.
I don't know that this
How will it be
change is going to be impacted.
No, we still have the groomer fund and whatnot that comes through the county.
Yeah, and the county should still be receiving funds from the state to support that program.
Okay.
Whether or not that program's operations are sufficiently funded is probably a question that's better served for the state or for your board.
When we were going through budget, they were they're still doing really well,
Okay.
Fund wise.
For right now. One of the problems is when we start going down the road, we're going to need to figure out, well, I guess this year will be the window to see how much we're going to be able to get from the state. Because I'm sure it's going to be less because of the fact that they're going to probably take an administrative fee. So that'll lower our income amount to the snowmobile board for grooming.
Did you guys hear that? I mean, I hadn't heard anything about administrative fee coming up.
That didn't undertake any review in our office.
Did
We
they?
weren't requested to
And I
look at that by
heard
the
it
groomer board, so I couldn't tell you.
Okay, so we don't know, well,
And at the board meetings,
obviously
they
we know the
haven't
state,
heard
if they're
that.
going to collect something, they're probably going to take an administrative fee. So we probably need to follow up with the state to see.
I believe they've had this fee enforced for a while. Ours was just above theirs for the use of our county groomed trails. Due to some of the trails not being groomed any longer, when I checked with Kootenai County why they dismissed the fee, is because they're not going to charge, they've lessened as many trails that they're going to be groomed, and they're not going to charge the people recreation fee above what the state's already charging. So
Kootenai County made a similar determination that we've made, and that is based upon the state statute that's in place. There's likely an argument for preemption, which means that as the county, we really don't have any choice but to remove from our own ordinance our groomer sticker provisions.
Because we can only tax for property tax. We can't go on site, right?
And that's one argument. I think for many years there were a number of counties that had groomer sticker programs in place. And in light of some of the modifications to the state statute, most of those counties have all moved forward with repealing their own sticker programs. We're one of the last ones, I believe, in the state to actually proceed forward with that amendment. And so the ordinance amendment that's before you has a primary purpose of removing the sticker program out of our ordinance. And then while we had that door open, we went ahead and modified some of the definitions and clarified some of the other provisions within it that Mr. Fall, on behalf of the Groomer Board, thought would be appropriate. So we forwarded a copy of the ordinance amendments to him for review and input. And Mr. Suarez here, our legal intern for the summer, has been the one that's taken the primary reins on meeting with Commissioner Cassidy and meeting with Mr. Fall to ensure that the changes in the ordinance amendment reflect all the changes that they had concerns about. As far as the funding piece is concerned, once again, Jeff, I'm really not in a position to have any input for you on that just because we didn't dive into it. But if there's concerns from the Groomer Board about long-term sustainability of the program, that board should certainly come back and discuss those with the VOCC and then with the state to say, what do we need to fund this program long-term?
Yeah, and during budget time, working with the clerk, I mean, they've been a pretty well stable
But
committee.
have we gotten funds from the state already?
Yeah,
Okay.
The state sticker program has been in place for quite a few years.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
So we've been receiving that plus our own, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And ours, removing those fees isn't going to cause a significant loss to their revenue.
And
I mean,
Chris
there'll be
would-
some, but
Yeah, Chris Fall should have those numbers too.
Mhm.
If you were curious on what the loss of revenue might be.
Yeah. I'll look at that.
But
yeah. And I can pull up a history because we have that as a separate line item, so I can show what's been
Okay.
brought in over the last few years on it.
Okay. All right. I'll look at that. I appreciate it.
And then the only question I have is the other updates he made besides the sticker fees.
yeah, so those should all be reflected in the copy you received. And Matthew can go through those with you guys if you want to know what some of the other changes were. Matthew?
Yes. So, I mean, starting in order, the groomed trail, we've amended that definition to include the term winter season.
Okay. So I
As
don't have the right
defined.
printout. Okay.
So as defined in later on in our definitions at the very bottom of, we have winter season, the period of time from November 1 of each year to April 1. You
And
have,
Matthew, just to piggyback on that, the primary reason for that change is there is a prohibition against OHV use on groomed trails, but many individuals know that some of our groomed trails are the same trails that are open for vehicular traffic during the summer months.
Yep.
And in the wintertime, once those roads get snowed in, they're on the designated groomed trail route. And so without that clarification that the OHV restriction just applied during the winter season, technically your code read as such that vehicular use on any trail that was also designated as a groomed trail would be unlawful at any point in the year,
Okay.
which simply isn't accurate in how we want to enforce it. We want to
Okay.
enforce it during the winter season.
Okay.
Next change, Matthew.
so let's see. We've also made a similar adjustment under section 2.4. It shall be a misdemeanor to operate any vehicle other than a snowmobile or OHV, with the exception of duly authorized emergency vehicles upon a groomed trail in the county during the winter season. So we've added that aspect to this general prohibition.
And that's set to replace the previous language. So before there was restriction language that was much broader. So we actually narrowed the scope of it and simplified it.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Appreciate your work on it.
Did you make some amendments toward the special events section too?
Yes. My apologies. Title 6, Chapter 2, Section 10. Subsection A, the board may, by resolution duly enacted, waive any or all of the requirements set forth in this chapter with respect to individuals actually participating in special events. Said resolution shall describe the event or events to which the waiver will apply with reasonable particularity and shall state the provisions of this chapter to be waived. So we made the edit to individuals and not just, I believe the terminology before this was too specific and we opened it up to individuals.
Okay.
I can't remember what word. We basically made this more broad to everyone, whereas before it was more narrowly written. And I believe that is all that we have as far as amendments.
And did Mr. Fall have any input after the updates?
He just brought me up to speed on the situation as far as the board's concerned, the groomer sticker board's concerns, and the status of the state recreational fee being contrasted with the county's groomer sticker fee. But yeah, that's about all of our conversation was.
Okay. And do we have to have a hearing and put the amendment in? Or?
The amendment's there. It's been drafted. It was sent over. I don't know if you didn't get a copy of it, Jeff, but yeah, he sent a copy of it over. So
In our email? Did you send it to just me?
Oh yes,
No, I'm sorry that I
Okay.
didn't pay attention to forwarding it.
All right.
I will get that to you.
my apologies, Commissioner. I should have sent it to her.
because this isn't a land use ordinance, it doesn't require a public hearing.
Okay.
And so what you guys have to do is put it on your agenda, which it's on the agenda today as an action item, but if you haven't looked at it yet, might be smart to.
I have 10 minutes to look at it.
Okay, yeah. And when you're looking at an ordinance amendment,
Old one, so
when you're looking at an ordinance amendment, everything that's struck through means it's being deleted, and everything that's underlined means it's a new addition.
I have the old one. So.
Yeah, they usually have a pretty good cash carryover
Okay.
too. And they get donations and
Okay, so I just have one question on number 2. It says to operate any vehicle other than a snowmobile OHV with exception of unauthorized. Other than a snowmobile. Okay, so the track vehicles are all right, like the snowcats and the like 4-wheelers with tracks on them.
Yeah, and if you go back here, I think the definition section
Self-propelled.
has an OHV definition.
Mhm.
So in 623,
Person authorized action.
nope, that's not the most updated version. Yeah.
the old one.
Okay.
You have the
Is that copy one you can hand over to Jeff?
indeed.
Okay.
This should have been the one that I pulled this from our email thread. So
Jeff's like, all right, I'll start over.
Oh, I see. ATV. Okay, so I need under 2,000 pounds.
That sounds right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I must pronounce it home. That was going to print another.
Okay. Yeah, that was the only question I had.
Okay. Well, it's yours to approve. You like those changes today? If you
Yes.
want more time,
I think it looks good. That was the only thing I was concerned about is what the definition was, so. Yeah.
Right.
You want to do a motion?
Yeah, I'll move to approve the updated ordinance for the snow groomer
As amended?
as amended and repeal of the groomer sticker fee.
did the clerk get you guys an ordinance number for this ordinance?
No.
Okay.
Shall
Maybe just
we-
identify it by title, with the ordinance number to be inserted by the clerk after approval.
So we're just going to use the, okay, we'll apply the ordinance number. I'll move to approve an ordinance amending definitions and replacing and repealing provisions in Title VI, Chapter 2 of the Shoshone County Code. Is that what we're,
Yep, and as part of that, you'll want to dispense of a couple of ordinance reading requirements if you guys haven't done so already. So there's a requirement for adoption of any ordinances that you should waive a reading on 3 separate occasions and authorize a reading by title only. So that's always good to do anytime you're adopting an ordinance.
Okay, so we wait, I'm sorry.
Yep, so your motion would be to waive the 3 reading rule and
Okay.
read the ordinance by title only. In order to adopt the ordinance, and since you don't have an ordinance number, you'll read it by title.
okay. I have to say all that.
Yep, so you've got
Waive,
So I can do a motion, I can do a separate motion to waive.
Yeah, you can separate them out.
So
Okay.
what I'll do is I'll do a separate motion to waive the 3 reading rule and
read it by title.
Read it by title only. You second that?
I'll second that.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then
Okay,
we're-
and then you can do the motion to approve the,
There you go.
Okay.
We're getting there.
So, I need to mention that clerk will apply the ordinance number after.
I would. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll move to approve an ordinance amending definitions and repealing provisions in Title VI, Chapter 2 of the Shoshone County Code for the groomer board or fund. And the clerk will apply the ordinance number at a later time.
And then I would read your summary, which is just below.
Just write
So
that.
it's going to be your
Okay,
paragraph.
so here's our summary. An ordinance of Shoshone County, a political subdivision of the state of Idaho, amending in part and repealing in part sections in Title VI, Chapter 2 of the county code related to groomed snowmobile trails. The ordinance adds and removes definitions and removes provisions for groomer sticker fees, fee collection, use of fee revenues, enforcement, penalties, and inter-county reciprocity for groomer stickers.
okay. I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The
Is that your copy?
amendment passed. Okay.
That was easy.
Yeah.
Anything further?
I'm glad that wasn't
That's all
on
we got
video.
on the agenda for the 9:30.
All right, we'll adjourn.